Okay, we're going to start with our almond biscuits today. I have 2 1/4 cups of almond flour, about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. We're going to add that to about 4 tablespoons of cold butter that I've cut in pieces. This is butter that I made. This is homemade butter. If you have homemade, that's great. If you don't, buy it. But this needs to be cold. It's been in the refrigerator. And what you do, you add all your flour together and you cut all this butter in. And so we're going to get that done. It's the same recipe as before. It's just that this time I've learned something to do with my eggs. So it's a new improved almond biscuit, gluten-free. And I'm going to use my hands because it's easier, I found, with the butter than cutting it in. But I just make sure my butter is broken into pieces into my flour. And my almond flour was in the refrigerator, so it is cold also. It makes it better that both are cold. And you just break those little pieces of butter up into your almond flour and make just a crumbly something. And while we're doing this, I have 6 egg whites. So we'll continue on with that in a minute. With the egg whites, I have them in my mixer, and before I just sat and got them fluffy and took them out and did this. This time we're going to mix these for a little while, and I'll show you how long. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 minutes. They're going to get fluffy and white. We're not going to just get them frothy. We're going to have big white egg white. Okay, real time, about 3 minutes. You see this? Pretty and fluffy. It's not coming out of the pan. You see how it's done? I'm going to put this back. Crumbly, hand done. And yes, I keep washing my hands. I don't show that, but I do keep washing my hands. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start the mixer again. And I'm going to sprinkle this crumbly mix into it and let it get started mixing up, and then I'm going to stop the mixer. At this point, you do not want to mess up the egg whites. So what I did before is I gradually added this mix, and you just want to fold it in until it's wet. You don't want to over mix. And we're just going to add this. And the secret is not to over mix. You just need this stuff wet. Okay. This is what it's looking like, guys. We're going to put it in the fridge for about 20-30 minutes and let it just sit there and mesh. And then we're going to do drop biscuits. Okay, it's back out. All I did was let it chill. And I'm just going to take a good spoonful and put in each one. We're not going to mash it or anything like that, because that's what usually sticks it to the bottom. Just kind of gonna see how that does. See, they look fluffier. They look better than before. They don't look as packy, because before I was rolling them out with my hands. I was taking and rolling them and then putting them in. That packs them down. This way, look, isn't that awesome? I think so. We're gonna put it in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to check them when they're turning brown on the top and bottom. They're done. Look at that, guys. They are rising so pretty. See that? Some pretty awesome looking brown on the top. Almond biscuits. Gluten-free, light, fluffy. Let's get them on a rack. Perfection. Look at that, guys. Just like a homemade biscuit should be. And I usually turn them over. They're not brown on the top. You can see some brown. But Danny will heat these again in the morning when he wants a biscuit. So I don't want to overcook the tops. He likes the bottom crunchy, and the top will brown a little bit more in the morning. That's what I'm talking about. The most awesome, light, fluffy biscuit. Almond flour, gluten-free. It's great. Thank you, guys, from Deep South Homestead.